I'm here today presenting about the second phase of the partnering with MEF catalyst. And in this phase, we intend to extend on the capabilities that we displayed at the TMF live event in Nice this year to take the catalyst beyond just the East-West Sonata interface, the MEF Sonata interface, for off-net service providers, to extend the catalyst further southbound into the network. And this catalyst is a growing effort. We're releasing phase 2.1 in Dallas this week. We intend to launch phase 2.2 in Singapore in about 4 weeks' time, and then there'll be a third release of phase 2.3 in Nice next year. In that time, we intend to extend the capabilities of the catalyst, and we'll see greater and greater depth and capabilities coming into the proof of concept environment that we have. So let me explain to you what it is that we're trying to do with this particular use case in this version of the catalyst. At the moment, we're demonstrating a scenario where a CSP is selling an EVC, that's an Ethernet virtual connection, where one half of that connection is provided by your own network, so that's the on-net part of the network, and the other half of the connection is being provided by an off-net service provider. So that might be in another country or something like that. So how do you go, as a telco, how do you go about ordering that product and provisioning that product so that it can be provisioned correctly and coordinating both the on-net and off-net parts of the provisioning of that product? So that's what we're demonstrating. We're also using TMF standards and MEF standards to facilitate all of that ordering process, that fulfillment. If we look at the different layers that are involved in an order process from customer all the way down to the network, we can see that the TMF participates in these top layers, and we have a wide range of standards bodies that participate in those network standards. Now, for this particular catalyst, we've chosen to make use of the MEF standards, but we could equally have done this with ONAP or a number of other standards bodies and incorporate their standards within this catalyst as well. Indeed, in future stages, we may choose to do that. So if we look at the various components from the catalyst participants that are inside of this project, what we've chosen to do is to build our catalyst on top of the TMF's recently launched hybrid infrastructure platform. And that is going to provide us with an insulation layer for TMF standards up the top here, down to the various network standards down the bottom. And if I overlay that with the various components that we're utilising in the catalyst, we have from Sienna their Blue Planet product for orchestrating the provisioning of the services and resources. And up the top up here, we have Digit Telflow product, which is about customer order management and fulfillment. And then over on the left-hand side there, we have an off-net service provider dummied up to simulate the off-net service provision. The steps that we're going to go through within a demonstration run-through of the catalyst is initially we'll do an off-net configure. So we'll basically reserve the services and resources on our own network. And then once that's been successfully provisioned, we'll issue the off-net order through the MEF Sonata interface. And then we'll do the activation of the local service on your on-net. And then from there on, we have an end-to-end connection in place. So what does this achieve? This is really about delivering greater business agility for the CSP and improving the time to market and reducing costs, because integrating with those off-net service providers can be a very costly exercise, and doing it through a standard like the MEF Sonata interface is a great way of reducing those costs and decreasing the amount of time it takes to set up those connections. In this particular release of the Catalyst, we have this basic architecture. So we have Telflow at the top doing the customer order management. We've implemented the HIP layer in alignment with the TMF's new HIP architecture. And we have Sienna Blue Planet providing the services and the network elements. So the bulk of the work that we've done between Sienna and Digit Systems has been in building the HIP layer and the interfaces north and southbound. We also took the opportunity to update the MEF Sonata interface to the latest version of that interface. And so in the Singapore release, what we plan to do is to add an additional Blue Planet Sienna interface, but this time not using TMF interfaces, rather using a pure MEF Legato interface, or potentially a proprietary interface. Because the point that we're trying to prove here is that this HIP layer can do the translation from a TMF interface standard from the north to whatever interface is required southbound. And in doing that, we will prove out the HIP architecture that the TMF has been proposing. Now, for next May in Nice, we hope to also include Riverbed, who was one of our other participants in the Catalyst, and incorporate them, sitting them beside the Sienna Blue Planet implementations, so that they can also be used to provision, in this case, SD-WAN services. One of the other big things that we intend to add with the Nice release is to incorporate catalogue integration as well. And so when these various network systems introduce new resource templates, those resource template definitions will flow up into a catalogue in the HIP layer, and then a subset of that information will flow up into the product catalogue in Telflow. And that's important because if you can get that to happen automatically, then when capabilities are added to the network, they automatically flow up into the product catalogue, and then a product manager can rapidly assemble those new services and resources into a new product offering, which you can then sell to a customer. So that means that you can sell your product in the marketplace much, much faster than you would otherwise be able to. So I think that there are a number of things that we're trying to prove out with this Catalyst. We're trying to prove that the TMF APIs work and can be successfully implemented to provide rapid integration. We're also doing the same thing for the MEF APIs, and they are, for the most part, an extension of the TMF APIs. So the MEF and the TMF have been working very closely together. We also want to prove out that the HIP architecture will actually do what it's supposed to do, to provide that independence of the southbound network layer, so that you can support multiple network domains from a common product management layer.
Come see this award-winning Catalyst at Digital Transformation Middle East and then at TMF Live in Nice 2018. Thanks to Digit and Sienna and our champions, Telstra, Orange, Vodafone and the MEF.